Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale around It's been a fantastic show for you. Announcements delayed, see how Guild Wars 2 did in this quarterly earnings report, and pre-order for the Quaggan Uprising, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow hosts. He is a moderator over at MMO Champion and host of Zero to Hero on this very channel, and also Vote to Kick on Wednesdays. How big of a money ball would he need to make himself a free guy? Say hello to Jim.
I don't even know how to take that.
Look, he had a new movie, Free Guy. I wanted to use it. I just didn't know how to work it in.
Well, I'm fine. How are you guys?
Awesome. I'm good. Well, it seems like the gaming industry isn't. But we'll talk all about that even in after show, so definitely stick around for that. But also, he streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question. I wonder if he heard that ArenaNet is removing Thief to help with costs in the most recent earnings report. Say hello to Age.
I was gonna make a joke, but it's in poor taste, so I'm just gonna let it slide.
Aw.
Oh, come on, it's the internet. No hold bar,
No,
right?
it would have been really bad, and yeah, no.
Okay.
I trust Age on this.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me afterwards. I'm all excited. And she's an editor at Guildmag, writes for MMORPG.com. And also her own site, MMORly.com. It seems all of her roaring over the years has scared the WvW news away. Say hello to Robin.
Hi, how are you?
How are your gummy bears?
Good.
Those aren't the sugar-free ones, though, are they? Those are dangerous.
No, they're not sugar-free.
Okay, good.
Why would sugar-free ones be dangerous?
Sugar
Choking
alcohols,
hazard?
they can cause gastric distress
Oh.
when
It's a
consumed.
good thing I prefer actual sugar.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now it's an educational podcast. But let's talk about the news of Guild Wars 2 this week. So, kind of anti-news. Not fake news. We're not, well, I guess now I said it.
Yep. Who's talking to you?
Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah, I was like, what the problem is, I'm the only one here, and I had, like, who did that? Anyway.
Alexa has a setting for fake news.
It just shut off. Anyway, we're eventually going to get to the actual stuff. But, so we were teased last week, and it happened right after I think Talking Skritt ended last week, or right around there during maybe. But
Right.
I think on Twitch they were kind of teasing about a WvW announcement being possibly this coming week. Well, unfortunately, and like last week, due to the weather, and once again, it seems like it's starting to clear up there, and people are getting power, so it's good to hear that in the Washington area. But yeah, unfortunately the WvW announcement was delayed. And I think it's going to be pushed back this week to this week. I don't know if they said that or not, but I'm guessing that's probably the likelier of the options. That just as long as weather stays good.
Right. In response to QED's question, my guess would be that they wanted to have something to show when they made the announcement, because the offices were closed for days and stuff. They weren't able to get the video or get whatever they needed done in order to have the things to show to make the announcement. That would be my assumption.
Yep. That and you wouldn't even be able, if with the power outage issues that they were having. I mean, I realize that everybody is working in a tech industry, and a lot of people can work from home. With the power issues, they might not have been able to guarantee that everybody who would have needed to be involved would have been able to keep power throughout the course of the announcement, and then being able to be on the forums to answer questions about it after the fact.
True.
Yeah, it seems like chat's really banking on the announcement being a balanced team one, because I'm sure a lot of people that have been keeping up with the news of WvW are hopeful that it was the Alliance system, maybe early talkings about it, but they already did say on that Twitch stream last week, I believe, that it wasn't an Alliance announcement related or anything like that. But I mean, it is enough to keep it a little bit hush hush. So maybe it's a. I mean, what do you guys think it could be? I mean,
Krakatoa 8 World versus World.
You're still gonna run with that, huh?
Yeah, it's gone.
Possible changes to equipment system. Like if it's a big announcement, it's not world. Like I know you were joking in pre-show. It's like I hope it's not like world relinking, because I'm pretty sure like them being like
right. That wouldn't be an announcement like this.
To keep it hush hush. Yeah, I would not imagine they'd be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna.
Aaron bringing up a third Borderlands map, that'd be really cool, but I really think that would have a little bit more preamble to it.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, maybe if it's just talking about it, because I don't know, people, are we actually getting an update? Because they talked about it as an announcement of something. So,
well, it could be an announcement of an update.
Well, everything's potentially going to be an update event, like.
Oh,
even if it was Krakatoa eating World v World, they have to update that out.
Apparently they excluded a new map and tournament during their stream last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Well, that quashes that.
Yeah, I'm utterly stumped.
Maybe you can use mounts in World versus World that's coming.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if they added another skill track, kind of like they did with gliding.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a limited use. Like I honestly thought that they could make use of the char tanks as like bikes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I would hope if they do a World v World mount, it maybe because they did say people are saying we're supposed to get another mount, and they're thinking it's gonna be through Living Story as like the other one was and stuff like that. What if this is the one we were talking about, a World v World specific mount? That way, it's easier to balance because with gliding, I mean, you can only glide so much. With the mounts, the unique thing about them was they all had special skills, which unless they're going to be like, you can only use Raptor or only use this particular one, which I would rather them be like, this is the World v World mount.
Yeah, that's the one thing I always thought is that they would have to have a WW exclusive mount so that they could manage the skills on it. Because can you imagine having the Springer? It's just like walls.
Yeah, jump over the wall.
Well, yeah, if they were to make the other ones just generally usable, they'd have to make a lot of areas excluding them. And,
which then wouldn't feel good.
Right.
It's like
you're running along and you wander too close to a fort and you're dismounted, that would suck.
Chat saying mounts would break response times unless mounts have the same speed as if you were just running. Though also it would then require people to defend.
Right.
Which I don't think is a bad thing for, I mean, maybe in Guild Wars 2 World v World, but I mean, that's what I loved about other games that have done realm versus realm type things.
And response time could be limited, like it could be on a cooldown or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it could
it's also like people would have to unlock it and all of that. So the people who have it would be able to be fast, but not everybody's going to have it that quick.
It would be a cool thing, but we have no real idea of what it could be. And
chat's saying they've already commented on that as well. So
maybe they said it's not mounts.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out Tuesday or sometime this week, and we can talk about it next week on the show. But
still going with Krakatoa 8 World versus World. It's been he hung out in the mist too long, and he was like, "Oh, this is good magic." Nom nom nom.
Well, I mean, if they do that, and honestly, and we were talking about the reason why they didn't announce it because they wanted people there. Like we said, I think last week, if they announced that they're basically putting a lore reason in to get rid of World versus World, the servers would be on fire and like customer service or customer.
I don't mean like, that they're going to get rid of it entirely, but like Krakatoa 8 it so they can rebuild it from the ground up as something better.
Okay. I mean, how would they even, like, wouldn't there be a time where it doesn't exist, or?
There might be a little bit of time, like, where
but
Lions Arc was broken for a little bit, like a week or so.
Yeah, but if it was your game mode, if they said, well, PvE is closed for a week,
Hey,
Why did
look,
you-
if they were doing that and it was because they were making us something brand new that supposedly would be better, I'd be excited. I'd be like, oh, cool.
Because-
Let's see
because-
how it happens.
As we all know, gamers in a general sense are very measured and logical in their response to change.
Right. Yes. You're
And
correct.
QED, no, I like the idea of tying the lore thing because I mean, I kind of liked when the Aether Blades and the Forces were in the mist and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind like seeing like maybe Kralkatork minions switching out like as like.
Or some of the
You know,
Borderlands
different
get like the Borderlands get a giant brand.
Ooh, that'd be cool too. Yeah.
Just entire
So-
forts get branded. Just,
I don't know. I think whatever it is, and it's probably reaching, but I hope that whatever it is something that changes up the general gameplay of World versus World that makes it a little different. Because I feel like it's kind of stale.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how much they can do before they switch all this, because are they really going to do something that changes the dynamic before they kind of readdress all the systems?
it might, well, see, that's the thing, is they might be implementing changes prior to the Alliance update for the Alliance update.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well, I mean, there's not too much to speculate on except that I think what really irritated me was seeing people on Reddit saying, "Oh, look, ArenaNet delaying another thing." I'm like, really? There were snow. I was like, you guys are the biggest pieces of crap. Like, if you literally,
a lot of snow. There's a lot of snow, guys.
Oh yeah, especially
Yeah.
for them. Like the thing is Seattle does occasionally get snow, but not like that. Like that was like a foot of snow. It's a lot for a place that doesn't generally get snow, and if they do, it's gone like the next day. It's crazy. Age has
Carrot
been
Conrad.
quiet.
Look, you're one of the bigger WvW guys we've got. Like,
he's mad because Arlie's trying to close World v. World.
Make it
So-
better.
All right, so you're all wrong. No, I'm joking. I'm not sure what it is, honestly. I mean, like, I can't think of anything. Like, there's not anything that they've done in the past with World vs. World. I'm not sure what it could
Well,
be.
The other
Would you
thing
be
is,
sad because oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say when they came out with the, was it Eternal Battlegrounds? That was the one that was different from the other one, or
Edge of the Mist.
Edge of the Mist. That's what I was
Oh.
thinking.
Maybe it's something to address Edge of the Mist.
But I remember like everybody complained and was angry about it. So I don't know. And that was supposed to change up kind of like the gameplay of what it was like in World versus World.
Well, it was supposed to be kind of like a nice, you could still kind of World v. World and help out your server while still queuing for what Borderlands,
Right.
but then it just kind of became a karma train, and now it's
Mhm.
like nothing.
Yeah.
Now it's literally on the edge of the mist. Here,
Yeah.
there you go. Kralkatork can eat that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be some. I hope it's something that changes kind of the style of people have to play
Mm-hmm.
just a little differently. It is kind of boring the way it is right now, but
I kind of agree with Carnifex. Just nuke Edge of the Mist and make it the third Borderlands. Honestly, I love the floating island aesthetic.
Mm.
I won't
Havoc
lie.
forgot it existed.
I won't lie. Up until they said it, I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, that exists.
yeah, it's like the map is actually pretty cool. Like the arena they added was actually pretty cool too. I don't know if it's suitable for GVG, but
I was gonna say I've always liked the map. I mean, like I don't know.
or I should stop. I don't know. I know some people just don't like the island part, like different pieces, just because they want like a clear path in order to get to where they want to go, and not
Right. But that's like kind of the point of it, that there's not.
yeah, I understand. It's just that some people don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of like the aesthetic as well. It's like a mini, honestly, Edge of the Mist is kind of like a mini MIDI World versus World setup where you have like 3 different areas and then you can
Mhm.
collide in one
Mm-hmm.
area as well. But Yeah, as far as something new that they're putting in, I just hope it kind of like makes World's World interesting, like shake things up. That's about it. I'm not gonna speculate too much.
Yeah, like Chad's saying, they've had a lot of Edge of the Mist achievements nearly completed for years. Like, yeah, I think I saw like on Reddit like either this week or last week or something, someone saying like I went to Edge of the Mist and there's just nothing. Like, and I was like,
Right.
oh wow, like, and kind of it still hit me once again. I was like, oh yeah, that is an actual thing still there.
And QED, who doesn't want to use knockbacks to knock people off of platforms? That's
Or destroy the bridge and make a whole Zerg fall into the mist. I mean,
like,
right.
That's why I kind of hated the change to Skyhammer, where they put walls up around the Skyhammer platform, because
That was part of it.
that
Yeah.
was so much fun. The number of times I was saved by the force fields coming back for like the around the point.
Yeah.
Like somebody would knock me back and it was just
You're like, oh
god. But
no, like it was annoying to get knocked off, but I feel like that added an interesting gameplay mechanic to it where you had to pay attention to where you were and stuff. I like things like that.
yeah, and I like that idea. Like I remember and there's YouTube videos of people like waiting until a Zerg comes across and drops a bridge. But I like that idea of this is a tactical thing the base can do is bomb that bridge, but it also does screw me over. Like it also has an effect on our group as well. Like you really don't have that in the other Borderlands.
Right.
I mean
there really isn't. Like you can set up like kind of an ambush thing, like I think through a cave area there is or something, but it's not the same.
Oh, hoping for a legendary amulet with a pip enrichment.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, is there like for at least the ascended ones with the enrichments? Is there like a World v World based one?
I don't know.
There's a World vs. World XP and I think a reward track one too.
Okay, I don't know. I'd like a pip enrichment one. But maybe that would be too. I don't know.
Yeah, we should do a World versus World night. That would be fun.
Is everybody still on the same server?
Oh wait, Age never was on our server, wasn't he?
No, he
was
never
at
liked us.
Blackgate.
Yeah,
I'm on Aspen now.
Oh, you're
Are
on
you?
Aspen now?
Yeah. I got bored, so I swapped.
It was boring winning all the time.
Oh, and I'm kind of curious, Chad. Like you're saying, you've been in World v World all day. Like, what kind of keeps you in World v World? And
Right? Yeah. Like, what do you like about it?
I see for like anyone who like Zerg fights or anyone who's new to the game will probably like try out.
I do like the big scale. It's such a shame that like, because I remember like originally when they were first talking about it, of like, oh yeah, you can have the big Zerg fights, but you can have like a small group go over and like slowly chip away at like the back door type thing and eventually open it, which that kind of happens sometimes, but now I don't know, every time I go in there it just seems like it's kind of just join the Zerg and
that's
or be
why
a scout
I've
and
been,
not get anything.
Not doing it. Other part for me is I don't have gliding unlocked in there because I got bored with it right about the time they added it in. Now when I try to go in, it's kind of frustrating getting around because everybody's gliding everywhere. It's like, I suck.
Yeah. I mean, I've brought it up in the past and I've constantly tried to, and I'm still kind of curious why is I personally, for me, would rather go into Elder Scrolls version of World v World than Guild Wars 2's, and I've been trying to figure out why, and I still don't have a good reason. There's slight differences to it that I think enhance it better. Like you can get back in the fight quicker as long as you're holding some ground, which I think is missing in. Because that's the other thing. It's like if you get picked off in the Zerg, it's like I gotta catch up to the Zerg. Oh crap, they're here, and they're here, and I'm all the way at the. We only have the one waypoint at the very beginning. It's like.
So Benji said that he's working on getting the Mistforge skins, which those are amazing. And Aaron mentioned wanting legendary armor, but having no interest in raiding, which, yeah, if you're working on stuff like that, I totally understand it.
And that is true. When I looked at it, like, I'm like, that is probably the most realistic way for me to get legendary armor is through probably World v. World.
Yeah.
But I still don't want a World v. World. It's not at the current time fun for me as like
Right.
kind of, I don't know. But
need more, I don't know. I always like being in a Havoc squad, wandering around, just messing with the small camps and stuff. And that doesn't seem like it's worthwhile anymore.
And I will agree with Aaron kind of going off in that is one downside is the ESO combat does feel very rigid compared to Guild Wars 2's fluidity of combat. But if the system's better, I mean, I'll sometimes suffer through that or overlook it personally. But yeah, everyone has their, varying degrees of acceptance for stuff.
Yeah.
But I enjoy World of Road. It's quite enjoying without having to engage your brain too much. Fair enough, and that's why I don't want to get rid of like the Zerg thing, and that's why I was hopeful at the beginning. They were like, you can have Zergs, but you can also have like the tactical groups, and I don't know. It just seems like
I talked about it a while ago. I kind of wanted that. Like I think I went through a it might have been in an after show. I was talking about like a spec line for commanders, where like you had traits that you could pick as a commander that would buff your squad in WvW.
That'd be cool.
That way, like, it incentivizes more people to be in a squad. It incentivizes commanders to not boot you from the squad, because the number of times I've been booted from a squad because it's like, I don't know who you are. Like, you're not on Mumble, and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, with Mumble, right?
I meant more like, you're not on Vent, you're not on Mumble, you're not on TeamSpeak. It's just like, okay, one, why the fuck aren't you using Discord? Two,
not sponsored, but
hashtag not sponsored. Would love to
hashtag
be.
but could be.
And then yes, Guild. And then Aaron's right. He can get more of his Champions of Guild Wars 2 tweet series. You need to hashtag that, man. Champs of GW2.
But
I've also, like, not that long ago, I did go in and I was trying to run around in a squad, and my problem is I don't pay attention to meta stuff at all. I just play what I like to play and have fun, and somebody actually got salty with me over it. So that makes it not fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I just play Thief and I join a squad, but I don't join the squad. I just literally run with them. So it's like, you're playing with me whether you like it or not.
I'm foisting myself on you.
That's normally
like
what I end up
always
doing.
Annoying.
It would just be better to be able to see like squad chat to see
Better than half the squad members anyway.
You think they just accept? Yeah, I definitely have that feeling that it's just kind of. I think what Arlie's saying is it's just unfortunately that people have to be rude about it. It's like you're not. They think the one person in that Zerg that's not running the meta build, but still running their build competently, is making the difference.
That's going to dovetail really well into a later topic.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. And I can understand with like certain like Havoc squads where it is more reliant on the inner workings of it, but when it's just blob mentality of just throwing down your AoE and whatnot, I hate when people shout out, it's like, I found out you have this build on. What, you made us lose? Really? One person made it like a group of 40 people lose?
Right.
Then there's something wrong with the Zerg to begin with, or the game in general, which I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Rangers and Thieves are not meta, I think is the answer there.
Pretty much.
Druid used to be good, as far as I remember, but now it's...
Yeah, but I never used Druid. I don't know why, but that spec just never gelled with me. I used it for a little bit and I was like, no, I don't like this.
Yeah, I think people just want like a lot of AoE cleave and things like that, or
Mhm.
AoE boons, heals, things like that. So thieves kind of have that utility now, but like we're too squishy for Zerg fights.
Right.
Rangers, like if you're running Soul Beast, if you're running base Ranger, I think it's not okay. I think Druid's okay if you play a healer.
Yeah, I do base Ranger just because I like it.
Yeah.
And kind of going along the possibly still what the announcement could be. Do you think we would? I mean, I've heard some people, and it's kind of always been the thing of like just rewards in general for World v. World, and like, I mean, you kind of have starting and then legendary. Like, there's like not that much in between.
Right.
Do you think that might be the thing that's getting announced or addressed, or
more?
I mean, we have the
unique
reward tracks, but
would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the. I mean, I talked about it a while ago with PvP. Is there's very. You need more unique rewards per game mode in order to really entice people into it. You can't just pepper through. You can't just have a single armor set and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't care about rewards when I play World War. I want to go for fights. That's what World War people.
And that's fine. Like you're in it for the fights, but the rewards are more the enticement to get people
getting people in the door.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because it's like if you have something that's in there that's like you can kind of get at that you can't get anywhere else, only in that game mode that's maybe 100 ranks in or something. But no, they came out with legendary armor that was what 2,800 rank. It's like, well, I'm never like people were like, I've been playing World of World since launch and I'm not even there. It's like
that is very different. That isn't something you can earn, but you have to work towards, which people in this game do not want to do.
Well, like the other thing is like in any game, in any game mode, no matter how good it is, there's always going to be a certain amount of people who get tired and quit. And what you need is more people coming in to balance that out to keep it well done. And I think the problem they have with both PvP and World versus World is that there's not enough new people coming in and getting involved. So it's not very healthy ecosystem right now.
Yeah, and that's why it's like ideally I don't want like every rank you get like these special rewards. I want it like trickled out and a couple that are close by so it gets people in to hopefully be like, you know what, I do like this, and maybe hopefully stay not just for the rewards but the fighting that like help turn them into the people that you're talking about, Age.
It's one of the reasons why they had the original legendary weapons. You had to go into WW. You don't have to go to PvP, but you had to get map completion. You had to go into WW. They used legendary weapons to kind of breadcrumb you into WW. Why are you tormenting your cat?
Okay,
I was
and
moving
Chad
her
is
off
saying,
of something.
Okay, and Chad is saying the back piece does start at 50 or around there. And so, okay, I guess that's a little bit lower, but...
Yeah, Benji, that's what I'm saying, is that the gift of battle is still a WW thing. So if you want to make a legendary weapon, they're kind of being like, hey, there's that World v. World thing. You have to get this thing. It's not too hard to get, but, you might like it while you're over there. So give it a shot. And that's basically the whole point, is they want you to give WW a shot. And then if you end up liking it...
But they also don't want to make it too...
required.
Yeah, because if you don't like it and then being forced to do that, it sucks.
Yeah.
Per.
We'll see. I mean, any final thoughts on the World v. World announcement as a whole? I mean, we got a lot more out of this than I thought we were. I was going
to say, we stretched that out way longer than I thought we would.
But I think it's because so many people are hungry for, they want World v. World. Like, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, but, well, I mean,
you can't have gummy bears. Stop.
We were talking about earning stuff in-game. Well, how well did ArenaNet earn stuff this quarter? This past week, we actually got the NCSoft earnings report, quarter 4, and so you can see here it had two pictures, one quarterly, which you're seeing now, and then yearly. But the quarterly actually shows that Guild Wars 2 actually had its worst quarter this year, and I think for a good long time. Like,
No, wait, we can't say poor WildStar anymore. WildStar doesn't exist anymore.
You'd still say poor WildStar because it doesn't exist.
I wonder what's going on with the IP for that.
I think they're just holding on to it.
And Chad is right. Like, and that's the important thing to note is there wasn't that much of a draw in Q4, like for people to get in to possibly spend money. Because I think the last year's Q4 was with the whole Mountgate stuff, which they still made a sizable profit because a lot of people. So there was stuff that actually people would purchase, whereas I think this year they just didn't really have anything.
I was going to say, I don't remember there being a whole lot in the last quarter, like outside the normal.
For a year, we're still up on 2016. So it's not like we fall into pre-expansion doldrums yet.
Right.
So
yeah, if you look at it throughout the whole year, like I think the rest of the year, since it was kind of stable, because I think if you look at the quarterly breakdown, it's like, oh, it did worse than Lineage 2, but I think it's because Guild Wars 2 was more stable this year around. If you look at the yearly, Lineage 2 only got 64 Korean million won, whereas Guild Wars 2 got 80. It's,
but so then like, look at the mobile games.
Well, yeah.
And that's, I will say, my statement is not that I hate mobile games. I think mobile games are great. Just the monetization is, I don't want to. Sorry to interrupt, Paige.
In terms
Which
of
I need to remember this because there was recently somebody said something about mobile games make a lot of money, and somebody was like, "Yeah, based on what? Prove it." And I was like, "Oh, right there."
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry.
I would like to point out, based on Lineage, like being how old now? Like 15, really old, 16 years old.
Yeah,
it's right around the WoW time frame.
Doing pretty good for itself.
Yeah, because I think in 2017 was when they announced Lineage Mobile, so that is probably the mobile version. You know, going into the mobile stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's still holding pretty strong.
Honestly, I think, and Strata's right, is that mobile games also have a much lower threshold to accessibility.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the reasons why so many companies are like, despite the fact that cost of make versus cost of money that you can make with them being much more favorable in mobile, it lowers the bar of access. Like pretty much the Blizzard dev said everybody has a phone, like at this point. So not everybody has a PC that can play a game.
But
except all the people attending BlizzCon.
Except for everybody who went to BlizzCon who do not have phones.
Yeah, probably did it in front of the wrong crowd. Maybe if he did that randomly on the street, he would have probably got more support. But yeah, it was really funny.
But I'm not worried about Guild Wars 2. It's fine.
It's fine. Like, I feel like all of that is exactly expected. It's what like anybody would expect.
I did see some people, because a lot of people are worrying, and it's like, it's the end of Guild Wars 2, and some people are like, they should start making Guild Wars 3, which I don't think is, first off, going to happen. I mean, they're supposedly working on an expansion. I don't think they would make a Guild Wars 3 at this.
If before we're not getting the next expansion at the end of this season and going into the next season, because that's going to go into Guild Wars 3.
Are we gonna ride Kralkatork to Guild Wars 3? Is that what you're insinuating?
Guild Wars 3 is going to be like, everybody's branded now. We're all Kralkatork minions.
No, quote Kitten Theory. It's going to be mobile.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, and then you say let's go. I'm kind of now imagining a Pokemon Go version of just getting your mini pets.
Yes.
Like running around getting mini pets now.
Oh man, if they made an app like that and linked it up to the game, that once you got them in the game too, I would be all over that. Yes.
There you go, ArenaNet. You're welcome. Yeah, polymorph game. Like you can attach that to there. Boom.
Yep.
I would play that.
Oh yeah,
that's too funny. Though I did see a lot of people actually starting to speculate, since we're in troubling times. It's, if you look at the year, I mean, yes, it had a lower fourth quarter, but like, this is the end of the game, and people are starting to actually. I heard someone suggest that, what if they make the next season you had to purchase it?
Wait,
And,
what?
like, you actually had to purchase the season, and not like, currently now, if you get it for free if you log in during the time frame, but if you miss a chapter, you have to pay 200 gems per chapter.
Right.
But they're insinuating paying upfront. I'm kind of curious how many people would pay for the season release.
Wait. What is so? This is this like
So
the
instead of
entire
logging
season?
in and getting it, you have to buy the season. Like,
Yeah.
like
Is it
like
per
it's
episode
DLC.
or is it the entire season?
I mean, they didn't go into specifics, but it sounded like per episode. So maybe 200 gems per episode thing, or
Literally
maybe
the
even
current.
higher, because they were insinuating, well, what if they had more expansion like features in the season rather than what we have now?
People won't go for it.
I think it'd be too much of a change in how the game's structured.
Yeah, they already set the precedent with the system. People wouldn't
That
like it.
I would say personally, that's how I kind of feel. It's like,
Yeah.
I
I mean, there are people who are already kind of not happy about having to buy the expansions, Like, I feel like that would just make that worse,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
However, if they did like bonus missions and sold those like they did in Guild Wars 1, that'd be fine.
Yeah, if they had like added stuff like separate to it, like a bonus mission pack where that wasn't like conducive to the story, maybe we get the actual Guild Wars 1 Beyond Alona stuff, so we could see that bridging the gap. But in Guild Wars 2 on that engine.
Remember when we got the mimic
Mhm.
pet, and then
Oh,
you had
yeah.
a little mini collection quest to turn it into the red spark?
Yeah.
Honestly, if they have more involved stuff like that as a gem store purchase, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
Mhm.
buy a collection, and as you complete it's kind of similar to battle pass stuff from like battle royales and other games right now, where you buy an unlock and then you do stuff to get the things that are along that reward tracker collection path.
When you said Battle Pass, my heart sank just briefly, just because it made me jump back to our previous one of
The
what's the World
Battle
announcement?
Pass.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
But honestly, the collection system like that, like, that's a really good way to introduce optional content that's more than just, here's a skin.
Yeah.
Like, that's
And
one of
yeah.
the complaints that a lot of people have with the Creation Club for not Fallout 76, for Fallout 4, is that you get these new items, like new skins and stuff, and the free mods have like quest lines and unique locations to go and get them, and you have to like put shit together, and like it's involved to get it. And then the stuff from the Creation Club is just like, it's added to your inventory when you log in next after you make the purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So-
and what if you can finish your thought? I was actually
Well, it's just one of those things where it's like, this would be the more involved version, whereas the gem store in game, it's like literally the Black Lion trading company mailing you shit. So it's not like it's breaking immersion, because whenever you open the gem store, you're basically flipping through a magical catalog. But if they were to add these quest packs, it's just like you get a letter from a contact at the Black Lion Trading Company. It's like, hey, we found out about this stuff, so you want to go take a look at that? And then you start the collection like that, and then you have your own little mini quest to go through.
Well, and I was just gonna say, I was gonna kind of connect that with how chat was saying, they'd love the SAB mounts. What if there was like a thing where you could buy the SAB, like, there's a SAB cartridge in the gem store, and it opens up a collection thing where you go through a series to basically digitize your, like, basically you'll be able to earn an in-game in a sense, but you'd still have to buy the thing through the gem store at maybe a cheaper rate, but you would be able to then digitize your mount to unlock that SAB skin or something like that.
Honestly,
I
just
mean-
sell a SAB.
I'm honestly surprised that we haven't seen a SAB mount pack.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years since mounts came out and they started doing mount packs, and it's just like.
Although, like, when they overdid the physics in the game, it broke SAB, like, fundamentally. I wonder if adding mounts in there isn't just the simple thing.
Well, I'm not talking about mounts, and I don't think any of us are talking about mounts in SAB. We just want SAB mount skins.
Oh, I'm with you.
A way to then, and maybe even having, and this does take up more space in their gem store since it's, but because I know some people will be like, I just want to buy the thing and have it unlocked. Maybe at the regular price you can, what is it, 2,000 for the set of 5, or if it's a specialty mount. You get it unlocked right then and there, but maybe for the reduced rate, however much, you have to then do the quest for it, or the collection. Because I don't know, I'd prefer to do the collection. I mean, especially it's like we just had the mounts, the set of mounts that were kind of more, I want to say Nordic, but they kind of had like the
Alpine.
Alpine, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I forget what they were called, but yeah, they kind of had the fur things on it. But if it made you go to like maybe some more of the Delgermore areas, or collecting things and like learning about it, and like maybe constructing it to put the armor on your mount, it's like, I don't know, but I think yeah, honestly, and I think I like what Chad was saying. I think Guild Wars 2 is in an okay place. It looked bad seeing the fourth quarter be lower, of course,
right.
But I think as you see the yearly, it went down a little bit, but not as much. I'm sure the investors are angry about it, but aren't they always angry? I mean, I
was gonna say investors are angry anytime they didn't get all the money.
Saving that for post show, right?
It's little teases.
That's a discussion.
But we're kind of thinking of this like whole changing up different things to maybe make them a little bit more money, or other things to drive people into certain areas of the game or whatnot. I know on Reddit, and I think this kind of ties into for some of the people that are seeing the doom and gloom from the earnings report of, what things, maybe even small things, could Guild Wars 2 learn from other MMOs, basically bring that aspect in there and improve it. Because I mean,
build templates. Sorry.
Okay,
well, I think that was all a gimmick or a gimme, but thank you for getting that out of the way, because I'm sure that was, everybody was typing going, oh. But yeah, it's Super Eagles are Griffin. Sorry, but yeah, it's, I don't know. It's I from the Reddit post, and I think from some other things, we pulled some out that people were starting to generate. Like for example, people were saying like Terra organizing achievements by rewards, fan art for loading screen art. I mean, that's a nice way to get the.
I mean, they do often retweet fan art from the official Guild Wars 2 account, so that would be a pretty amazing way to do it. I don't know if their PR department or HR wants to handle the rights holding issues, because that's rights holding for art is wonky, but it certainly would be a great way to handle things.
If we're talking about things that they could pull in from other games to make it better, my big thing right now is just having a way that you can search your achievements or collections. That would be cool. Just, be like, I'm looking for this.
It's
not in the collections.
Overhaul.
You can't search the collection. Ooh.
And I do want to make note, like Chad does bring up a good point, that the Guild Wars 2 has done a nice job of adding nice quality of life stuff, like for people. I mean,
honestly, my biggest QL thing from other MMOs coming into this was resource nodes. Like that was my biggest complaint coming into Guild Wars 2 from World of Warcraft. I don't have to fight people for resource nodes. Yeah. And that was from the start of the game.
Yep. Or even fighting people for mobs and stuff. That was the one thing I always said that I liked about Guild Wars 2 is when I saw other players, it was never like, oh shit, it was just like, oh look, it's another player.
And LFG, I honestly feel like the dungeon system could actually use an overhaul like LFG in World of Warcraft, where you queue up, you get randomly partied with people,
Right.
go do a dungeon, and then you get rewards for either your first dungeon of the day or X more.
Right. But I don't know. They could have changed their mind in the time, but they have said in the past that they don't want it to work that way because they feel like it's really impersonal that way, and it would have a negative overall impact in the social aspect of the game, which I get that, but it would make it easier.
They could repurpose the dungeons as guild halls.
Ooh.
So that would just be the final nail in the coffin for dungeons. I mean, granted, it's pretty much sealed, but...
Or they could do new guild missions to have you go into dungeons and do specific things in the dungeons.
Or just guild missions in general.
Well, yes. But that's an
baby
idea
steps. Let's do guild missions first, and then ones that go.
One of the things that popped up on this is the why no dueling or gear inspection. Gear inspection is a really easy one, is because gear inspection causes elitism.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, one reason that they brought up consistently themselves. Was
they don't want people like Arlie. Like, if they inspect you, generally speaking, people are also expecting to be able to know what your build is. And Arlie was bringing that up earlier, is that people get pissy when you're not playing what they expect you to play.
Yep. And that's just with seeing you having the wrong weapons equipped, usually.
Wrong weapons.
Yeah. No, I don't have any desire to have the inspect thing.
And another point, because there was at one point the DPS meter, I forget which one, like when it first happened, it did have it had one, and people were rude and kick people out for those reasons alone. It's like you just had the chance to show that you could be trusted with this thing, and you basically showed them exactly what they were worried about. So really don't expect that a gear inspect option to happen.
So for Spirits, your first bit is I think the reason they don't want to put a personal bank, you do have a personal bank in the trading in the guild hall. It's the crafting station for scribing.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So
if you want to use that,
the trading post NPC in guild halls, I think they wanted to limit the amount of functionality you can do in guild halls.
Right. They didn't want that to be the place where nobody was. I mean, they didn't want guild halls to be a place where everybody was and makes cities empty.
Right.
That's what I meant to say.
And now it's kind of the reverse, where everybody's in the cities and no one's in guild halls.
And the reason I think that they're allowing mounts in other maps, which honestly I think allowing mounts in other maps is an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. It's also in order to get people to buy Path of Fire.
Right. It's a marketing thing, because it was the same thing with gliding when they put in the rest of the thing. Other people see it and like, oh wow, how do I get that? You know.
That, and honestly, some of the beetle racing, but fuck Snowden drifts. God, the number of times I was half a second off finishing that meta.
I think that's the only one I haven't done yet. I've done the others.
Never again. I will never do that race ever again. Ever.
But going back to what they were saying in chat, because I was curious, I saw someone in chat referring to the character select screen. I was like, well, what's wrong with that? And it's kind of, I don't have the problem because I don't have a lot of tunes, but luckily,
when you have a lot,
it's cycling through that line of. So a little quality of life, maybe a search feature or a way to organize them.
Or like
in a particular order and not
make it like
logged in.
5 characters, and then when you get above 5 characters, start a new row or something instead of it just being a line.
Well, it could be, I don't know how complex the UI is there, but it could be something as easy as a simplified or advanced toggle for character select. So you just literally have a little toggle at the bottom, and just the simplified one is the current one. And then the advanced one allows for sorting and searching and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what's available to the API in that particular location, so I don't know how hard that
right.
And then the no dueling thing that also came up. I know exactly why there's no dueling allowed in Guild Wars 2 is because the classes are not designed to 1v1 each other, and I would imagine that they don't want people to get discouraged about playing a class because it can't 1v1.
All right. That makes sense.
Now, granted, a class can 1v1 with the right setup and played the right way, but there are some classes where it is easier than others.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
Like
that's
Firebrand.
every type of build in every
Or
type of
game.
situation. There's
Yeah.
always a class that's probably going to do a certain particular task easier. I mean,
But any kind of player versus player content is primarily designed with 5-on-5 up.
Mm-hmm.
When you're ganked in WvW, I mean, if a thief jumps on me in WvW, I'm probably gonna die. Doesn't matter what I'm playing, because that is literally a situation that a thief is designed for.
Right.
In WvW. Like, that's the point, right, Age?
I'm gonna disagree with you on the point. Go on.
ooh,
Right.
Well, okay,
Here's
so
what-
if you jump on someone and they're able to fight back, are you at least able to get away?
he's a thief. Of course he can.
Depends on the situation, honestly.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Most of the
If
time,
it's age, yes. If it's me, I go, and I'm dead.
And removing conflict, yeah. I mean, I also think that it's, I mean, everybody remembers Love v Love, the bug that everyone was allied to each other in WvW, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
you should have more of those actually.
And yeah, like that's what Carnifex is saying, is people start whining about 1v1 balance.
Right.
Like, because
True.
then people will start saying, well, why can't I 1v1 every other spec, every other class with all of their specs, with any of the specs I have? I can't 1v1 regardless of what I play. This is broken. Balance is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, and theoretically, if you're in a guild or have access to a guild hall, you could, if you have the guild arena thing open,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
you could theoretically 1v1 there. So, but I think, like you said, open world duel system. So, I mean, 1v1ing is in the game. So,
Not really. It's because guild versus guild, it's hard to get other people that are not in your guild in the guild hall. It's just
well, you have 5 guilds, invite them temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
but what if they have all 5 guilds and they have it?
Well, then
They
they
use it all.
they make poor decisions. They make too many.
Something vote to kick on multi-guild systems.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's really like the guild system, like that's more for the guild doing PvP events.
Right.
That, and honestly, they've only just started supporting 2v2.
Yeah.
Technically, like, it is fairly recent in the game's lifespan that they've just started supporting 2v2 anything. So 1v1 I don't think is ever going to be supported, because 2v2 is a narrow tightrope to walk anyway if they're going to end up doing tournaments for that.
Right.
And like Chad's saying, yeah, custom arenas, you can set it up so you 1v1 someone. I mean, it's still doable, and you don't have the restriction of the guild hall stuff. So, I mean, why not make it more prevalent? The only thing I could think of is there is nowhere in the open world that you can actually fight another player at any point.
You might not be capable of fighting another player in the open world. Like, the code might just not allow for it.
Maybe.
Like, it might be completely impossible. Because it, like, when
Right.
Heart of Thorns, there were brief times where if you were playing through the story with a Sylvari, they would become hostile to you.
Mm-hmm.
But that was always in an instance at very explicit times.
Right. And that also might be why all the holiday special maps and stuff are in the PvP like map system as opposed to the PvE one.
I'm trying to think, though. Technically, unless it got damaged in the long run, wasn't the one bonus weekend or beta weekend where they turned people into Paisley Crocatorix minions? So they had an infection type thing where it on the fly turns you, hostile to other players.
And
I don't
Benji,
remember that.
Benji, you're right. They can swap your team, so to speak, but how many teams are available in PvE map zones? Because
Well,
if they swap your team for 2 people fighting each other, what about everyone else around them? Can it discern that?
And Tabit does bring up a point. The other beta event was the Hunger Royale, I think they called it, was the Hunger Games event that they did. But I think in that one they had you go to Metrica province, and then there was a portal that took you to a mirrored Metrica province.
Right.
So it was like a specific one. Now, granted, I'm sure when you loaded into the map for the Kralkatork one, when you were branded, it was a special version of it. But it didn't have that go here, then go into the portal. I think that one was just the whole zone for whatever design choice reason. But I'm wondering why it couldn't do that. But Malthanis does bring up a good point of how capable is it of having, how many teams can you have in there type of thing on the map.
Yeah, and how much of it would be worthwhile to engineer that to be able to have like another layer where it's just because honestly I could see dropping people to like a free-for-all layer for teams, but I mean, is it really worth designing that for a dueling system at this point for something that has no impact on the rest of the game when they could be doing other stuff elsewhere? So
yeah, and I think Benji's memory might be flawed a little bit there, but I don't remember there ever being a plan for the POF maps.
So I mean, with that story, it would have been probably the perfect area to at least try that the branded event that they did in the betas again, where basically it turns you into the enemy team.
Yeah.
Heck, it could have even worked out very well for it, just because in that one you had the forged, and you had the branded, and we know WvW World is capable of holding up to 3 teams. What if there was a map where if you got taken by Balthazar, the forged, you became a forged minion. If you were caught in the branded for too long, you became one of the branded. It's like that would have been an interesting kind of meta event. If there was a map that utilized that, but I don't know. I'm not sure about them having the open world section.
If you ever find a quote on that, I'd like to see it because I'm curious. But
yeah, and some of the other things I think people came up with, and Chad, if you know stuff like chat, people were talking about the nice little quality of life for a character select, but even Wispy saying they thought ArenaNet planned an open world PvP event, but in POF, so possibly leaving it due to server load and lag issues, which could very well be a possibility. I mean, that tends to be rampant in some of the maps.
I'm kind of sitting here looking at the bullet points. The one that's standing out to me as a more meaningful mastery system.
Maybe they mean like something that directly increases your power instead of just augmenting the way you interact with things in the world. Maybe.
But that was the express stated purpose of the mastery system. And like the glider is a mastery. Your mounts are a mastery. They fundamentally change the way you interact with the game. I don't know how you get more meaningful than that.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of for that reason.
Well, it's more like, I think it's more like masteries that you can only use in like one area, like kind
of like what we had for the living story,
like Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, the druid vines, I think they were.
Yeah, those were in Draconis Mons. Yeah,
luckily they gave you a decoration eventually that you could probably put in your guild hall that you tend not to have a reason to go to.
I kind of understand why they want to be leery about that, because being able to Spider-Man around, if you were capable of doing that anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what the person meant.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
It does, but I don't know. I like being able to use the masteries all over and stuff. Makes it more interesting to me. Like,
I
it
wish
would
they-
feel too restrictive to me if I couldn't.
I wish they bring those seeds back so that
Seeds.
the ones for the Spider-Man stuff.
Oh,
Like, I want them to show up in another map because that was a lot of fun.
right.
Mhm.
I actually don't think it can show up because that was a Heart of Thorns thing.
Yeah.
So they can't have that show up in a Path of Fire map because people can not have Heart of Thorns and still have Path of Fire.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I see one from someone that suggested from a feature from XIV, Final Fantasy XIV, is a small voluntary icon for new players who get their own chat. Which, I mean, why? I'm kind of curious. Why would you want a chat just for new players only? Like, wouldn't you want someone to be able to guide someone? Like, which then we have the Apple system, which, you know, maybe there could be improvements, like a special chat for that or something that maybe.
Isn't it like a new player chat, like where people can go ask questions if they're new to the game, and then you can have someone answer it in that chat?
Well,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm questioning it, is the way it sounds like that is like a voluntary icon for new players who get their own chat, which if it's just new players, how are they going to answer a question?
Hold on. So what it sounds like to me is they're pulling from Final Fantasy 14, which they have a mentorship a program where people who have been playing the game for a long time can flag
So it
themselves
has veteran,
a mentor to help out, and then they can see the chat, and then people who are new to the game or who come back after a long time away get flagged as seedlings, and they can see the chat inactive. And there's ways to report people who abuse it. So if you have a mentor giving out crap information or something, they can be reported and removed from it.
Okay. Final Fantasy 14 just seems to be so many different games all piled into one MMO.
It really is. It's an amazing game, but it can be really hard to figure out what about it works for you because there are so many things. It's overwhelming at first.
And another one, they specifically said SWOTOR with the transmog sets, which I'm assuming just is like a transmog system in general, which I haven't played SWOTOR in quite a while, so I don't remember how their system worked. But I mean, personally, I would like one from like how Rift was. I mean, or even how
it's
ESO's
similar
is now.
to Rift, where you could basically set up loadouts of skins.
Okay.
So you basically create your own outfit.
Right. You create your set, and when you change gear, you can just apply that all at once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
I was trying to figure out. I was like, what?
Like the appearance isn't tied to the piece of gear that is equipped to your character. It is literally just if it is this slot, it is this equipment appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one the ESO adopted. I mean, I don't know if that's doable for them, but what I would like to see is maybe some restrictions removed. Like, I know ESO adopted, I think Rift had it too, where two-handed weapon is a two-handed weapon, whether it's a staff. Now, granted, I think that's actually sectioned off in ESO, but like any two-handed weapon, you could wield what looked like a sword, a staff, a halberd, whatever two-handed weapon is the case, or a one-handed weapon, or even if you wore heavy, you could change stuff to make it look like you're wearing light armor or medium armor or whatever. So I personally would like to see that restriction lifted, but I know the whole silhouette thing and all that stuff, whether that's still a big concern. I mean, but
I think even WoW's kind of gone that way in some ways in allowing what you transmog your artifact weapon into. They've loosened that up some.
Well, that and they've also loosened up the restrictions on transmogs of regular items too. Is that if it's a two-handed weapon, you can transmog any two-handed weapon skin on it.
Right.
But the problem is in Guild Wars 2, the type of weapon you wield matters.
Right.
For your skills. In those other games, I don't know about ESO, but I know in World of Warcraft, it doesn't matter what weapon you're wielding.
Right.
for a paladin, Crusader Strike.
I mean, outside the obvious of like if you're dual wielding or you're wielding like a two-hander or all of that. Like outside of that, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Embrace the idea of fashion wars. We need to make our characters look the best. But I don't know. Was there any? Another one which was the barbershop, which I think is kind of hinting back to WoW stuff, where basically in WoW it's like you go to an in-game spot, you can change the look of your character, and then I think it just costs that amount of gold.
Can't you just do that with the?
People are wanting to do that without the kits, but I thought they added an NPC that opened up that window.
The NPC lets you try out things. I don't think you can
but not
save
purchase
it and apply it. Yeah.
Unless you have the item.
I believe it can consume an item if you have it in your inventory.
Yes, but if you don't have it, which I don't see they're going to like implement that because that's taking something out of the gem store.
Yep.
And that's one thing. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Was a lot of people were like, "Yeah, make it worth." I'm like, "No, that's making it something where they can't make money off it." And they, yes, I would love the game to be free, and I'd love them to somehow make all the money, but somehow that doesn't work out that way.
Right.
But yeah, like Chad is saying, like I was gonna say, as I was reading, I was like, now I'm pretty sure there is an NPC. So but could make kits a more of a common drop in Blackline chests.
I
have several.
I was gonna say I have so many of them.
I have too many.
I still don't have my rabbit backpack. Not that I'm mad.
Okay. I was gonna say I know I have a good bit, but I'm curious of how often people change their character look, because I don't know.
Depends on people. Some people I know change a lot.
I don't know. It's just for me. It's like I could change the armor style more so, which I tend to not to anyway. But I don't know. It's like
most of the characters have helms, so I'm not looking at their heads anyway.
Well, even in that case, it's like, I mean, I look at them when we're going through story stuff, and like when they have used to have the cutscene splashes and stuff. But it's kind of like that's their face, and why am I going to a barbershop for plastic surgery? Like,
that's
one thing that confused me about WoW.
Yeah,
it was
dragon
like
magic.
Krakator just blasts you in the face and goes back to the mist.
Oh, I'm beautiful now! Yay!
Moving on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any other things that people can think of, like small little things, or anything from that like little bit of a list? I think we covered most of them, but
there's stealth skills tracking. Bothers me.
Do you want more of them?
Shut up. I heard it. I heard Mothan say it before he said it.
Well,
Prime Light Beam does it too.
Yeah.
I got yelled at by a thief in PvP for that one. That was.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like he stealthed right as I started casting it, and I just watched my char like turn as he's trying to run away. It was the funniest thing.
That's also saying they could sell more craft slots as a quick extra bit of money. Yeah, I mean, and I think they do slowly try to roll that out, because I'm guessing it might be like a little bit of a worry about what it has on like the game or the servers of.
I thought there was a way you could get a third craft slot.
Well, you can, but they usually like with the bank tabs, it's like they'll release 2 and then they'll wait a little bit and release another 2 or something. So I'm guessing eventually their goal is to make it so you can have all crafts.
I don't know about all. Because, I mean, already if you untrain one and then you retrain it, you don't lose any of the things. Like
no, but it would be a nice convenient cost that could make the money.
I don't know if they would want to do all of them.
I could just definitely see them doing more, though.
4?
What, Mothanis?
I know you can get I know you can get a 3rd skill. I can't remember if you can get a 4th.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought it was just 3.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I think down the road we'll see them slowly trickle them out, because I just think it's a more of a concern of like stability for so many people buying it, and what does it have on like the system itself would be my thinking of my concern if I was them. But
that and overloading one character with a lot of stuff kind of cuts back on, like, Guild Wars 2 is a very alt-friendly game with so much stuff being account bound, and over allowing one character to be overloaded kind of disincentivizes that.
Yeah.
ooh, what if it made it a system where it then called in your character that has that skill. He runs in and is like, I'll make that for you. Here you go, and runs away. Come on.
Is that from someone?
I have no idea. Is it?
Well, there's a system similar to that in SWTOR, but it wasn't quite that.
Well, I don't think they ran in and did like.
Yeah, that's what I say. They didn't run in, but you could send your companions to do things for you.
Yeah, like they were basically your
like
crafters
workers.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Well,
Like video has that.
Yeah.
You have workers and they can craft stuff or gather things.
And they're like, I'm gone for, I'm crafting it for the next 24 hours or whatever. It's
Oh, okay.
So I think that's all I have on that topic, though.
Yeah.
I could go on and on and about systems, but that's not something that y'all want to listen to me ramble about.
No. Yeah, we're already how long in? Well, we can always say for after show or when if there's ever another slow news week, because I'm sure people are always going to be wanting to have more in the game, because I mean, people love their video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Much so that they what?
I love how he was like,
so much so that they establish friendships, maybe relationships.
Friendship is magic? Wait, that's something else.
Friendship is dragon magic. But this past week they gave us another friend/ships 1 year later, and it was catching up with the guild POOF. Yeah.
Poof. Oh yeah. So Harry Potter, you're just going along, and then one day, poof. Sorry.
But it was a blog post. It was about the guild that I think last year they had the article where they first met. They had a guild meetup at, what was it, PAX? Or one of the conventions or something like that.
Yeah, just met up. Oh,
okay. They talk about how it went this past year, and apparently two of them are now starting dating, so congratulations to them. Yeah. And one's actually so much so moving actually to Canada in the near future to be with the other one, so congratulations to them.
So sweet.
Yeah. And apparently they actually take a travel laptop so they can still play while they're
nice
seeing each other. I think the other person should just have a guest PC. Come on.
PC. I need to make a guest PC. I do. I need my friend over. I need to frag out here. But 3K it's not easily dropped. So
yeah.
Trust me, that's the only way Stoop Kid's leaving his stoop, if there's a guest PC there.
Wow.
I technically have a guest PC now. I just have to set the damn thing up.
I was gonna say.
Oh, crap. Gotta leave my stoop. Called my bluff.
Yay.
But I mean, it was just a nice little catch-up article. I think it's
cool.
But any thoughts on the friendships article?
No real thoughts. Just awesome that they're still hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same as like Chat saying. Like, I got nothing against the friendships campaign. It's kind of just wholesome. I think we talked about it like a little bit last week. It seemed like it was like, oh, they asked this person, but it definitely seems like the people that put in stuff last year, they're looking into for this year and so on and so forth.
Right.
So, a lot of people were like, oh, they, those were the winners. It's like, I guess they, they weren't or anything like that. They were just people showing you examples. And I think that's what they're just still doing here. So, but, they definitely still have that giveaway keep going. So if you have your loving memory of your guildies or, definitely submit it if you want to. Oh yeah, we talked all about the last year's stuff about it. That's and it's the person doesn't even play the game anymore. I mean,
right. But like in that case, if I remember correctly, the whole thing started in the game.
Yes.
So it was kind of beside the point that they don't play it anymore. Like.
But any other thoughts on it?
No.
But it's like we're saying, those people last year, or that had had one of the articles, they left the game to grow as a person. Sometimes even people that work at ArenaNet have to leave ArenaNet to grow as a person. It is sad, but always, like we say, we wish them the best of luck. But a producer, Matthew Simantov.
I always love how you pronounce people's last names as a question.
Right.
Just every single time.
Yes.
It could be Smith, and it would be like, Smith?
The Smythe? But they were a producer at ArenaNet, and they actually tweeted out that, that this past week, it was their last day, but basically feeling all the emotions on their last day of work at ArenaNet, and they were very grateful. They've been there for 3 and almost 4 years, working with amazing, talented people. So, definitely sad, but it sounds like once again leaving on good terms, and hopefully, on to bigger, better things.
Yeah, he didn't say what he was doing next, right?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
But yeah, so any thoughts on them leaving ArenaNet?
Wish you all the best.
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't.
Go ahead.
It would take a seriously strange occurrence for me to look at somebody and be like, good riddance. So Todd, we spent half an hour talking about WvW for the announcement of the delayed announcement.
Right.
Yeah, and that we really still don't have any clue of what it is, but we can definitely talk about it during after show again and readdress things and whatnot. But and another thing that we'll probably be talking about after show that's slightly related to our next topic, as a little bit teaser, and if you're watching on YouTube, definitely have to show up live. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the whole Activision Blizzard layoffs, and a lot of companies have kind of been throwing out, tweets and whatnot, linking to their things of saying like, hey, if you need a job, definitely check out our career page and stuff like that. And, ArenaNet was no different. They tweeted out their career page, and just with the message of our sympathies are with our industry friends affected by the recent layoffs. ArenaNet is hiring for a few positions in programming, localization, and tech ops. So hopefully, maybe we'll get some old Activision Blizzard employees over in ArenaNet. And I mean, if you think about it, that's how ArenaNet started. It was a bunch of ex-Blizzard people that decided to make their own company and game, and look at where they're at now. It's like, so who knows? I mean,
no comment thoughts? Because I'm going to save my thoughts for after show.
Yeah.
Great that ArenaNet and many other companies were very vocal about these are the positions we're hiring for.
Right.
I applaud you.
We'll definitely save the focus of the Activision Blizzard stuff for after show, since that's more gaming separate,
General.
but I think across the board, it's, I'm glad, ArenaNet and all the other companies are watching out for, the employee, like former employees, and we're able to trying to get them back into the system.
Right.
But I don't know how to segue from that to
but money.
well, hey, if you want them to be able to have the money to want to hire more people, you gotta buy some of their merchandise.
Good job.
And right now, you can apparently pre-order the blue and pink Quaggan plushes, and it is on the For Fans by Fans website. And like I said, you can pre-order them. That's kind of all there is to it. I can throw the link in chat just in case for the fans by the fans.
Why the fluff did it take so long for them to get Quaggan plushies?
Well, they had Quaggan plushies before.
Now they have more Quaggan plushies? Is that the deal?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They're back in.
I have one.
Where's the Aurene plushie?
I don't have an Aurene plushie.
Is there an Aurene plushie? There's the magnetic feet. I remember.
Yeah,
that one.
that's plushie though. It's
What is it?
Like, it's like this big.
yes,
I'm
and it's
talking, like-
adorable.
Yeah, I know. I remember when Ethan won one at PAX. And it was,
But
Yeah.
I want the adolescent one. I want a giant one now. I'm like,
Yeah, the
Well,
grown-up Aurene.
yeah. But
I'll
But,
get you. I'll be sure to get you one day.
oh yeah. Don't waste your money.
But if you get him one, you have to put a little aviator cap on it and then put a little balloon in its hand and send it to him.
I will pop that sucker. I don't even talk about the balloons.
Poor Dave. I haven't sent you anything recently. I have been very slack about that.
To be fair, I haven't been in the game, that much to even
Aw.
get the thing. I truly only log in for story stuff for the most part,
Yeah.
or if someone's like, "Hey, we're running something," I'm like, "Okay, that sounds fun." Which that kind of goes back to all that stuff, but not any other thoughts on the blue and pink Quaggan plushie?
Yay.
Which one do you want, Dale? Blue or pink?
Pink.
I want the rock that's underneath of them. That's the pet rock mini, right? Plushie.
I think he
right?
wants the pink one.
No, that's the mini pet rock plushie, right? Underneath of it. I want that one.
I mean, if they have it, I'll send that too. But
Oh no. But
Okay, that's fine.
but like I said, I'm not really in game all that often. There's so many other games out there. It's like, how are they going to get me back in? Maybe something that's like enticing. Maybe something that's in the gem store that I have to go get. Speaking of the gem store, always thank you to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can
I
spend
can't
your
throw it in my
gems.
throat, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, first up we have, and you might be wondering, aren't these returning? Which we tend to not show the returning stuff. It is the Wings of Love glider backpack combo. Wait, that sounds different. Yes, because previously you could only get the glider version. Now they made it so it is the glider backpack combo. So for 700 gems, if you have not picked this up, you get that glider, but also you will get the backpack version of it. And of course, I don't think either of them are dyeable. So for once, we have this combination that won't randomly change colors as you glide, because you can't.
so how fast did you buy this for Dabio?
Well, that's the thing. I've had it previous years before it was the backpack thing, and you're probably wondering, oh, I have to buy this again. Well, luckily, if you already had the glider, if you go to the Black Lion, I think, specialist or something, they're in the Black Lion trading post right there. You can actually, I think it's exchange specialist or something like that. You can like chat saying, you can get the backpack for free. So if you already have the glider, you don't have to pay again. And there are some other ones if you've missed them in the past, but this is the newest one.
Oh, that's nifty.
Yeah. So would anybody be picking any of these up? And yes, that the reason I did buy it originally was for W.
I know Aaron wanted it very badly.
They look cool.
I like the particle effects. They're nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of gives off a like pedal, and I think with the glider, as the wings like spread, it kind of has like a little like lovey melody to it. So,
oh, kitty!
you have that to look forward to.
Look at my tail.
Yeah, that's normal for her.
Hey, Jim, it looks like it's trying to find a place to sit. You know where it could sit.
Oh God.
On the other totally new item, the club chair for 400 gems.
It's a cool chair.
Yeah.
It's a very like, I don't want to say simple, like in the sense of like very like the stool or something, but yeah, it's not like crazy over the top like some of the ones we've seen. So yeah, I definitely do like it. It's a fancier, simple chair.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wish that you could change positions that you sit.
Yeah.
If you press like 1 to 5 or something.
That would be amazing.
Because it looks like they basically just mapped the same positions to different chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can definitely tell that with the char, because it still looks like he's waiting for a bus.
I love the fact that the chair is designed to look like it's the same size for every character, and then you see the male Norn in it.
Yeah.
The chart.
Wait till you see wait till you see the char. It's
yeah. There it is. It's very awkward.
That's amazing.
I would do.
Did they not show female chars or female?
Well, I think it's the same animation. That's why they didn't.
Okay.
Come on, female Char and female Asura don't get anything. It's all unisex for them. You should know this by now.
Well, I said char, but I meant Norn because my ranger's a Norn.
Oh, okay. Well, you get the same thing because the chair's still tiny. Why are you trying to stab me with your feet?
Because she has tiny little murder claws in her feet.
Which you would have to keep her away from that chair because it looks like it's nice upholstery. But would you recommend either of these items? I mean,
how much is the chair?
400 gems.
Oh,
that's not bad.
So mini pet territory, mini pet territory.
Yeah, if you want a chair, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I mean, like I said, I bought the Wings of Love glider, now backpack way back. I would probably only recommend it because there are other. What are the other wings dyeable? I don't think so. So okay, well then it's just like all the other wings. If you like that look of it, I mean, and if you want the little noise to play every time you glide, definitely pick it up. But and chat's just saying no.
Really, it looks like mope.
Oh. Is it mope or nope? Come on, chat.
I'm pretty sure.
Are you moping about the chat, or are you moping about not getting the chair, or are you noping over the chair?
Tavik doesn't strike me as a chair buying person, to be honest.
See, nope. Yeah. But
I figured.
That is my headphone cable. Stop it.
Soon we're gonna lose Malthanis because the cat's gonna bite through the cable. It sounds like.
Right.
There's electrical tape on this for a reason.
Wow. Well, last up in Community Corner, we have a tweet from what looks like Jebro, the Unity Gaming Organization, bringing back PvP tournaments. Woo. And it kind of says is, so Guild Wars 2 PvPers, viewers, players, you remember the UGO tournaments? Well, watch this space. So we'll definitely give you guys the tweet. So if you are interested, you can watch that space. It's simple as is.
Jebro does a great job setting up tournaments. So if you're interested in Guild Wars 2 PvP, just to watch, the man puts on a good show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, are you guys excited to see another community run tournament?
Yeah. It's cool. Although
Yeah.
I don't know why, but my brain tries to change Yu-Gi-Oh into Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's confusing.
Well, it's your
It's
move.
time to.
No,
To
there
be
are no
fair,
rules.
I say it like that in my head when I see Yu-Gi-Oh. I see Yu-Gi-Oh. But you were gonna say something, Age? It looked like.
I like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments because they have like that. They try to keep it as balanced as possible despite the imbalances of the game. So,
Mhm. So yeah, definitely check it out. We'll try to keep people informed when there are updates when we know about them. So, but yeah, best way probably to keep watching his Twitter feed. He'll probably be one of the first people to tweet it out about it. But yeah, that looks like that is it for this week. And Jim, where can they find you?
I can be found on Twitter at MalthanusMMO. You can also find me here on twitch.tv/MadRealms every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Vote to Kick, where we talk about various things in the gaming industry and vote on to keep or kick them. And then afterwards, it's Zero to Hero, which I've kind of turned into a Jim plays hard games and then sort of not sucks at them eventually. Because the state of Guild Wars 2 PvP, which is normally Guild Wars 2 ranked PvP, I don't want to be frustrated on camera, because that just strikes me as something that's not fun to watch. So I've been playing Salt and Sanctuary, which is a cross between Castlevania and Bloodborne. So
But like
Eldritch
like a
horror.
side-scrolling pixel.
Yeah,
But-
Eldritch horror platforming
Oh,
Metroidvania
cool.
kind of stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've always heard good things about that game.
Yeah, but yeah, hope you all come out and hang out and chat, and hope to see you there.
Awesome. And Age, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Age Night Road. I streamed Overwatch this morning / afternoon. I might play Apex Legends tonight. I'm not sure, if not tomorrow. I do some League of Legends as well. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll see if
awesome,
there's
awesome.
World vs. World stuff next week, or PvPs, or balance in general next week, because I think we're due for one soon. So yeah.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Arlie82. Yay!
Awesome. And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. And hopefully, if I get this stuff rendered, I might pop back on Mad Realms. And maybe, depending on how I feel, I gotta grind out some Warframe stuff because of their weekend event. I need to get those 10 relics. Probably that makes no sense to just Guild Wars 2 people, but it's
just free relics, or
it's we'll talk about it during after show. But if you're just popping at the very end, we do stick around. We do a bit of an after show where I know definitely a lot of people want to talk about more of the kind of general gaming industry news, and we can always readdress some of the stuff in Guild Wars 2 related, like when people are popping in near the end. But if you do want to, that's why it's so important to show up live. If you are watching this on YouTube, we do go live on Saturdays at noon Eastern. We go, I switched those around. On Twitch, we go live at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. But if you are just catching us at the very end, we do highlight this on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/MadRealms, 2 A's in the Mad. But if you want to watch us on YouTube, it goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. But if you do want to watch us all in one nice little cozy place, just go to madrealms.com, and that's 2 A's in the Mad. And that's where we actually have the audio version of this podcast as well. So that is it, I believe, for this week. And we'll see everybody next week. And hopefully World v. World news and other things. So good night, everybody.